What's going on, guys? King of the Table 10 is a wrap, and I thought I would sum up all the matches for you quickly here. The match started with Coach Ray up against Rob Castendijk in the opening round, who came out of the blocks incredibly well with a hook-on-hook victory over Coach Ray in round one in the straps. But it was then Coach Ray who ran away with the match once he identified the lane and exposed the hand and wrist of his opponent and really exposed that lack of experience on the higher level. It was Coach Ray who looked very calm and in control with a 4-1 victory. From there, we moved on to Australia's Lachlan Adair up against David Arabuli of Georgia, and it was Lachlan Adair putting in probably the best performance we've seen from him on the international stage with a very convincing 4-0 victory. It went hook on hook, it went top roll on top roll, it went everywhere there is to go, but it was always Lachlan Adair in full control with the back pressure and wrist control, utterly dominating his opponent with a very big 4-0 victory. After that, we saw Tobias Sperong on the left-arm match up against Wagner Bortoletto in what can only be described as the most savage victory I've seen. Utter dominance, flash pins, ripping Wagner Bortoletto across the table, opening him up, not allowing him to get any value or purchase into the match whatsoever. It didn't matter where it went. We then moved on to Matt Mask and Derek Smith, which was one of the big matches of the night. Matt Mask looked ferocious. Derek Smith challenged him in the early rounds for the height, but once Matt Mask established that high ground, it really was one-way traffic, and it was all over. Matt Mask dominating outside the strap, in the strap, didn't matter where it goes. Once he busted the wrist back of Derek Smith, it was good night. We then had Etienne Waite, the arm wrestling whisperer, against Auden Larratt, the son of course, Devon Larratt, and it was Auden who was far too strong for this match. It was a bit of a mismatch in terms of physical balance. Auden putting in a very dominant 4-0 performance with flash pins. Before rounds 5 and 6, he let the rope out a little bit and went into the straps and allowed the whisperer to play a little, but still to no avail. Auden Larratt looking far too strong, far too capable on the table with a very clear 6-0 victory. It'd be very interesting to see who they match him up with next. After that, we then went on to what I think was the match of the night, Reno Masic of Croatia up against Bacho Saganishvili of Georgia. This was a potential main event in itself. Two guys, 19 years old, both youth world champions within their weight categories respectively. Usual weight categories for Bacho is 100 kilos. Usual for Reno is 110. This time they both met at that 110 mark. Bacho actually looked the bigger man of the two. He looked like he had amazing hand and wrist control from center off the go, but it didn't matter. Reno Masic in rounds 1 and 2 managed to dig in a defensive hook from the press position where he started, which was so very effective. It contained the pronator of Bacho Saganishvili and eventually was able to chip through, get it into his own position where he was on the offense, got his shoulder behind and finished the match. Bacho Saganishvili really did look like he was in trouble. He didn't know where to go. Even though he had dominance in the setup position, he was unable to finish, and Reno's defense was truly amazing. By the rounds 3 and 4, it started to lean the way of Reno even from the go, and there was a potential slight injury perhaps to the bicep of Bacho as Reno went on the offense in round 3. Round 4, it was very heavy one-way traffic. Reno with a flop press off the go. Even though the 4-0 victory on paper looks resounding, it was a very hard-fought match, particularly in the opening rounds, and for me, deserved match of the night. And then the main event, Vitaly Lelettin against Dave Chafee, was in itself a very dominant performance from Vitaly Lelettin, who ran away with the match 4-0 with flash pins essentially outside of straps in every round. Dave Chafee tried top rolling, he tried flop slipping, he was unable to in any way get to the straps in those first 4 rounds, and it was a resounding victory for Vitaly Lelettin as a result. Now, in the 5th round, Vitaly Lelettin did allow Dave Chafee to start in the straps, and we did get to see a glimpse of what was the war of October of 2022 last time they faced, where Dave Chafee actually gained himself the victory. Vitaly Lelettin did bust the wrist back of Dave, but the side pressure, when anchored by the strap, was sufficient to get stops. Vitaly Lelettin swung around on Dave Chafee's arm and put a lot of bullets in, but credit to Dave Chafee, he committed that shoulder, that side pressure, the elbow stood up to the attacks of Vitaly Lelettin and eventually wore through the bicep and got the flop press for that victory. So a 4-1 victory formally to Vitaly Lelettin at the end of the day. Look, overall, guys, the event truly was enjoyable. I had a fantastic time live commentating. I loved it. Every single one of you guys, all 888, I think we peaked at people that came in. Thank you for all that. It was an awesome one. A lot of questions on the where to from here. Where to for Vitaly Letten? I think the answer is Devon Larratt. Where to for Dave Chafee? Not sure. Maybe the answer is Lachlan Adair after his performance. Where to for Auden Larratt? Who knows? He's got to face someone his size now. Interesting one. I don't know. Maybe Juji Mufu or something like that. Interesting matches all round potentially for the future. Lots of good performances, and I think Reno Masick takes performance of the night. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the live commentary if you were there. If you've just enjoyed the recap, fantastic. Either way, thank you so much for your support.